Now, here are your hosts, Janet Hickox and Roger Wetzel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empower You Media. I am your host, Janet Hickox, and sitting next to me on my right or left, or maybe above me, depending on the screen, is my co-host, Roger Wetzel. Hello, Roger.
Hi, Janet. How are you this morning?
Very good, thank you. On this wet and rainy Pacific Northwest day. Drippy.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, how was your weekend? How was your Valentine's Day?
Quiet.
Yep.
We went to the movies.
What'd you go see?
Zoolander 2.
That is such a romantic movie to go see on Valentine's Day.
You know what? That's what Kathleen wanted to see, I knew it, so we went to the movies to see that.
That's so awesome.
See?
I spent the day in bed, basically, not doing what you think, but watching television with my little sweetie next to me, and my grandkids, and my daughter, and we just had a great time. It was a great, nice, relaxing day.
That's nice.
Yeah. So today, we are sitting here with Angela Blaha. Hello, Angela.
Hi.
Hi, Angela.
Hello.
So
Welcome.
Let's see about Angela. Angela has 22 years of helping people make positive life changes. She's a transformational teacher, mentor, speaker, channel, and author. She is passionate about helping people overcome obstacles through their life journey, Her methods help to decrease stress, clarify goals by increasing optimism, and strengthening natural abilities. Today, we're going to be talking with Angela about how to use the Akash to understand patterns, beliefs, and addictions. Welcome, Angela. And this is going to be a fascinating subject, I think.
Yes, thank you for having me, Janet and Roger. It's just such a pleasure to be on your show today.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
It's great to have you.
Is there anything in that short little introduction about you that you would like to add to? Because I'm sure there's a lot more. There's another story here, I'm sure, about how did you come to be an Akashic Records reader?
I came to be involved in the Akash probably about 10 years ago when I sort of brought back all my intuitive abilities after I shut them down for quite some time. Just because I was scared, you know.
You had these abilities like as a child and then you shut them down, or?
Right. So, yeah. So when I was a teenager, like I knew who I would marry, where I would live, what my major would be in college, all those kinds of things. And it was just a little bit too much. I didn't have a mentor. You know, I thought I was really going crazier. Who knows? At that time, I was young.
Any number of things that could have happened.
Yeah. So then I shut them down for quite some time. And then probably about 12 years ago or so, I started bringing them back.
And how did that happen? Was there an event or something that triggered it, or?
No event. I am a very busy person and I get bored easily. And so I was bored, thinking, well, there must be something more to life than just this. You know, going to work, coming home, feeding the kids, cleaning the house. So I was like, there must be something more. So I started just doing some research on the internet and found a couple things in the Akashic Records, I believe is what it was called at that period of time. That sort of intrigued me. So I started playing around with it and meditating. So I've been a crisis meditator up until that point. And then
a crisis meditator. I love that.
What is that?
A crisis meditator is someone who meditates when there's crisis, you know, when life is in the dumps.
When life sucks, you meditate.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it's good, forget the meditating.
You don't need it. I don't need it.
Who needs meditation?
Right. So then I just started, you know, seeing if I could get into my own timeline, kind of, my own Akash. Through meditation is how I started. And then I found somebody online who did some Akashic attunements for me. And it's just been taken off from there. I teach others how to use their own Akash to find patterns, thought patterns, emotional patterns, addictions, those kinds of things, so that they can, heal or purge or move further into whatever it is that they've brought with them this lifetime. So,
great.
So what is the Akash?
So the Akash is basically our cell memory, right? It's within our own cells. It's in our DNA. It's in the physical body. But what we don't take into account generally, because we live in the third dimensional world still, although some of us are further beyond that now, that the Akash, the memory, the cell memory that we bring with us can be in our mental body, our emotional body, and our spiritual bodies. So we have several layers of the Akash, which is basically our memory banks of every thought, every word, every motion, every action that we've ever done from the inception of our soul until infinity. So,
and does that imply that there's also the future of our soul in that record? Or is that not written until you're living it?
No, so the Akash can go to previous lifetimes or in the past. It can stay in the present moment, and the Akash also extends clear into the future. Now, keep in mind that some things are not seen in the Akash because it may alter our choice, because we have free will to choose. So some things, if we have experiences or for a less of a better word to find, lessons. If we have those experiences that we want to experience, then they may not be seen because it will alter our choice. Or it has possibility to alter our choice.
So what if, because I've heard this before. So let's say that because I've heard this in the past, like there's beings here that are from the future that have come back from the future to help us transition in what's taking place. So if you're like one of those beings and you do your Akash, is that what you're talking about? Going out into the future and knowing that? Or is it just like I'm trying to understand that.
You can go out into the future, but remember that everything is happening simultaneously. So there really isn't a future and there really isn't a past. So,
right.
So it's just
and if you can explain how that works, that would be awesome.
well, it's all within the remembering of who we are as a light being. And so if we see things as experiences rather than lessons, and if we see things as happening simultaneously, then there's just expansion. There's no moving up or down or in linear motion. It's just expansion. I'm expanding into this timeline versus, a past timeline, or I'm expanding into a future timeline, and I'm bringing it to this present moment because I'm in this human body form. Then that's bringing the future into who I am right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And
okay.
it's kind of trippy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's more to come.
Yeehaw.
So, Angela, can you share with us some of the experiences that you've had with the Akash? I mean, like, what are some of the things that you can do with that?
Well, there's infinite possibilities with the Akash. So when I first started getting into my own Akash, it was very linear. It was very linear in time. And I was taught at that time that you had to, go up on this lotus petal into a doorway where the door opened and it was guarded by ascended masters, which it is. Our Akash is always guarded by energy beings that we trust. And they do protect us within our own timeline so that other entities can't get into our timeline and, create mass confusion within ourselves. So when I was first learning, so that was my experience. I had to, take myself literally out of my own body, which we know we don't have to do that anymore. And at that time, what I saw when I got into my Akash was like the old time Colosseum, where the lions would come out of the doors, and which was filled with doors, but the doors were past lives that I had brought with me to heal up or to experience or just to have some wisdom about.
For this lifetime.
For this lifetime,
Gotcha.
correct.
Okay.
So that, there's always things that we bring with us to explore. And within my own Akash, there was multiple doors. And so it was all black and white in the beginning as well. So when I teach, a lot of times people just see black and white. And it kind of depends on your expansion level and what you're comfortable with. So there was that, and then it changed. Some people's records don't change because they're stuck in linear time. Mine changed because I have the perception and the belief that I can go beyond linear time, that I can go into multiple dimensions, that kind of thing. So then it changed, and it came into like a large hall, and colors started to appear. What I learned in that experience was that was my purpose.
Oh.
And so that was, it was a big, a lot of past lives were also in there. And what I learned was doing the things that I do, teaching the things that I teach about in the past have not turned out so well. But this lifetime, I don't have to experience any of those catastrophes, sort of. But that all has to do with my current purpose and my ability to stand in my own truth. So that was kind of a huge turn within my own Akash, and it was huge understanding that I brought into this lifetime, which still penetrates today, especially if I'm not speaking my own truth.
So so you're saying your purpose was to speak the truth, or speak your truth,
right? And to become visible
rather than invisible,
right? Which I had done in the past lifetimes, but each time I was killed.
Oh, I was going to say it speaks to persecution or some sort of death because of what you had to share, or because of living your truth.
Exactly. So what I basically found out in my own Akash at that time was that was not going to be a repeat. Like, I would not have to have the fear around that, because there was a lot of fear. I still had a lot of fear from carrying that with me. So now that fear was not found in my DNA and my cell memory. That fear was found in my own energy system, my own chakra system, which connects directly with my spiritual system, my spiritual body.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of healing, I guess, across the bodies. So my thinking patterns that were found in there, the emotions that were attached to those thinking patterns, and and the light that came in with that said, no, you don't have to rehearse that again. So that was all kind of fun.
We're done with that lesson. Thank you very much.
Yes, exactly. Can we move on now? Very much.
Sure.
You find that when you experience something with the Akash, is it healing both in the past, and then is it also healing then for the future as well as the now?
Correct. It heals past, present, and future. And if you go far enough into the experience, it heals all layers of your energy system, your chakra system, it heals cell memory in the physical body. It heals thought in the mental body. It heals emotions in the emotional body, and it heals the spiritual energy within the spiritual bodies. So it heals everything.
Does it also heal for the collective at all?
It can. In that instance, it was healing for the collective, because then what happened shortly after that, where people were coming into my life that were like mentors for me. Before that, I didn't really have mentors, so it opened up many gateways or doorways or pathways into fully moving into my own power, as well as bringing and receiving powerful energy from other beings that helped with healing unity.
It's sort of like when the student is ready, the masters appear or the teachers appear. Was that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
So what other kind of experiences, because you're working with other people too, right?
Yes.
And so what kind of experiences have you had with that?
It's infinite. I'm working with several clients right now whom I'm teaching actually to to be in their own Akash and how to use their energy to heal, because that's always available. There's another person that I'm working with who actually visits with his wife who has passed over within his Akash, and she like kind of guides him through his life right now. And so that's super powerful, you know, when you can get into those kind of energies and that kind of way of being, it's really, really powerful.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. You know, the thought of being able to access information like that to me is, it's extraordinary. Is there any caution about doing that kind of work?
No, because your soul only provides you with what you can handle and what you're ready for and what you want to experience. You know, the soul is never harmful. Your Akash, those are two words that I use to mean the same thing. It's always loving you and it's always protecting you in some way, shape, or form. So no, unless your energy says I want to experience something like dense energy or negative energy or, you know, energy beyond my comfort zone, then, you know, then you're making a choice, right? So you're choosing to go into that kind of energy. So, but otherwise, no.
So I have a question.
Yes.
We interviewed someone a couple of weeks ago who made a comment about the old days and the ways things were done and the new ways things were done. And her timeline, which was pretty funny, was the old days was anything before 2012. And so, you know, earlier in the interview, you mentioned Akashic Records was the old way of referring to it, and now it's the Akash. How have things shifted in the last few years as to the old ways versus the new way?
Right.
And
well,
is there one?
Yes, I totally agree with 2012 being a game changer, a shifting kind of time period for us, linear time period. How I see that working is, sorry, they're channeling. Hold on one second.
Okay.
You just never know when they're going to pop in, right? So, there's going to be multiple shifts going forward, right? Multiple, it's not like here's the day and then it's all done and over with. So for me in the past, we have always been wiped from the earth when we have a human upgrade. This time we get to work through the upgrade. And so we're all like masters at this point, just creating as we go. And so that is a huge thing, I think, to take in consideration when we're talking about where we're wanting to expand and what we're wanting to expand into. So they deterred me there. So could you repeat your question, Roger?
What's my life purpose? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
not kidding, but my question was, has there been a shift in the way the Akashic Records changed to the Akash and how we access and those?
Right. So with each shift that we have, or each upgrade, or each transition that we have, there are words and energies that match the energy of the shift. So before, when I learned about the Akashic Records, if you just pay attention to what words do within your own body system, like Akashic Records, well, how does that make you feel? Right?
Exactly.
Like I'm in a library. Shh.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like, don't talk about it. You can go there, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Or going to the county. You know,
Yeah,
you're very familiar with that, aren't you, Roger? You know what I mean? Looking up records.
Yes.
It feels thick.
Right.
It feels slow. It feels dense.
Right.
Yeah. But now when I say Akash, what vibration does that carry?
It's way lighter than it was before.
Exactly. So that is like the terms that we use have to upgrade with the energy.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And words carry such a weight. We don't even pay attention to the language that we use.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't pay much attention to the language, but it either pulls us up into an upward spiral shift, or it pulls us down into a downward spiral. That's our choice, right? Of course.
Right.
But when we pay attention to those words and how they make us feel, they play a huge part in how far and how much we expand.
Interesting.
Right? Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
It's really cool. I love the Akash.
Yeah.
There's so much wisdom.
Yeah. So we need to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back with Angela Blaha speaking about the Akash.